Let's get right into it. Number 10. Playing dead with bears. So you've heard the classic, if you see a bear, just play dead. That sounds great, right? Just lie down, look boring, and the 600-pound forest monster will get confused and wander off. Except that's not really how bears work. Playing dead only kind of applies if it's a grizzly bear and it's attacking because you startled it. But if it's a black bear, congratulations, you just turned yourself into a picnic blanket. Black bears are more likely to view a non-moving human as an easy snack, like the human version of a Lunchables. And here's the kicker. Most people can't even properly play dead. You're supposed to go face down, hands over the back of your neck, legs spread so it's harder to flip you over. Which, let's be honest, the moment a bear is looming over you, you're not calmly arranging your yoga pose of doom. You're screaming, running, or, most likely, Googling your life choices in real time. So the safety tip isn't totally useless, but it's dangerously oversimplified. If you see a bear, you actually need to identify the species, which is, not the easiest task when you're panicking, and all you see is fur and murder. Play dead for grizzlies. Fight back against black bears. So next time someone says, just play dead, you can say, cool. I'll add that to my list of useless advice right next to, don't worry, quicksand isn't real. Number 9. Hiding under doorways in earthquakes. This one is the classic school drill move. Earthquake hits, the ground shakes, and you run for the doorway like it's the VIP section of survival. The logic comes from older houses, where door frames were some of the strongest parts of the building. But unless you're living inside a centuries-old farmhouse, your modern doorway is basically just drywall cosplay. Standing in a doorway during an earthquake does two things. 1. It puts you right in the middle of swinging debris like a confused piñata. 2. Those doors can slam shut on your fingers or head because physics doesn't care about your safety brochure. Modern engineers recommend getting under a sturdy table instead. Tables don't suddenly transform into guillotines when they shake. So the whole doorway is safe thing is just historical inertia. People keep repeating it because it used to be true for a specific type of architecture. But now it's basically like saying, don't worry. If the Wi-Fi goes out, just adjust the rabbit ears on your TV. Wrong century, wrong advice. Number 8. Sucking out snake venom. You've seen it in movies. Someone gets bitten by a snake, and the hero sucks out the venom like a human straw. It looks brave, it looks selfless, and it's also completely useless. Venom travels through the lymphatic system, not sitting politely in a puddle waiting to be vacuumed. By the time you put your lips on the bite, that venom is already clocking miles in your bloodstream like it's training for a marathon. And worse, if you actually try this, you might just poison your own mouth if you've got cuts or sores. Plus, you're wasting time instead of doing the one useful thing, keeping the victim calm and still until medical help arrives. Moving makes the venom spread faster. So basically, sucking venom is the survival equivalent of blowing on a Nintendo cartridge. It feels heroic, but all you're really doing is spitting on plastic. Number 7. Swimming against a rip current. So picture this. You're at the beach, living your best sunscreen-slathered life, when suddenly you get caught in a rip current. The helpful advice a lot of people still think is smart, just swim straight back to shore. Easy fix, right? Wrong. That's like trying to win a treadmill marathon against the ocean. You're basically burning every ounce of energy while the current drags you further and further away, like it's personally offended you showed up at its beach. The correct move is to swim parallel to the shore, because rip currents are usually narrow channels pulling straight out to sea. Once you're out of that lane, you can swim back without the water yeeting you into international waters. But panic is the killer here. People waste energy fighting nature's conveyor belt, and by the time they realize it's not working, they're exhausted and drowning. So the old, just swim back to land tip is less about survival and more about turning yourself into a lifeguard's cardio challenge. Number 6. Stopping your car for animals. Here's a fun one. You're driving at night, a deer pops out and your brain screams, "Stop the car immediately!" Sounds humane, sounds responsible, except slamming your brakes often causes more accidents. On highways, a sudden stop means the car behind you has zero warning, and you've just turned yourself into a surprise demolition derby. Wildlife experts actually suggest that if a collision is unavoidable, it's often safer to brake firmly, but keep control of the wheel rather than swerving or stopping dead. Swerving for a deer can send you into oncoming traffic, a tree, or a ditch. Basically, you're trading one Bambi for 4 people in the hospital. Grim choice. But safety doesn't always look pretty. So, next time, remember, better a wrecked bumper than a 4-car pileup, because you wanted to audition for Fast and the Furriest. Number 5. Drinking alcohol to warm up. This one sounds cozy. You're freezing, so you take a nice swig of whiskey to warm the blood. And yeah, you do feel warm for a second, because alcohol dilates your blood vessels, shoving warm blood closer to your skin. But that's also why your core temperature is plummeting like a bad stock market. Alcohol makes you lose heat faster, not slower. So the classic, just drink booze in the cold trick is actually your body's ticket to hypothermia. That false warmth sensation tricks people into staying outside longer, taking off layers, or straight up passing out in the snow, which is the exact opposite of survival. Basically, Alcohol in the cold is like setting your thermostat to fireplace screensaver. It looks warm, but you're still freezing to death. Number 4, the old stay put if you're lost rule. You've probably heard this one from scout leaders or camping manuals. If you get lost in the woods, just stay where you are and rescuers will find you. Sounds nice and logical, right? Like you're some human GPS beacon waiting to be rescued. The problem? That advice assumes someone knows you're missing in the first place. Spoiler, most of the time they don't. Staying put works only if your friends reported you missing, gave rescuers a starting point, and helicopters are already warming up. If you're hiking alone, didn't tell anyone where you were going, or you've got about 3% battery left on your phone, then congratulations. Sitting there, like a confused garden gnome, is just making it easier for the forest to eat you alive. A smarter tactic is something survivalists call controlled movement. Basically, move slowly towards safety signs like rivers, roads, or open spaces, but leave obvious markers, broken branches, rock piles, or, if you're feeling extra dramatic, arrows made out of sticks. That way, rescuers can actually follow you. Stay put isn't completely wrong, but in a lot of cases it's just code for die politely in one spot. Number 3, cooling a burn with ice. So you touched a hot pan, or maybe you forgot that fire is, hot. The common knee-jerk advice, slap some ice on it. Feels soothing, right? Except no. Ice actually makes burns worse. You're adding extreme cold trauma on top of the heat trauma, which is like punching your skin twice for the same offense. The proper treatment is cool, not ice cold. Running water for 10 to 20 minutes. That helps stop the burning process without damaging the surrounding tissue. Slapping on ice can cause frostbite-like damage and slow healing, which is basically your skin filing a formal complaint against your problem-solving skills. So, yeah, ice cubes belong in your drink, not on your second-degree mistakes. Number 2, CPR as seen on TV. Here's one of the most misleading safety tips thanks to Hollywood. CPR. On TV, someone goes unconscious. The hero pumps on their chest for 10 seconds, and boom, eyes open. Dramatic music, hugs all around. In real life, CPR isn't a magic revive button. It doesn't bring people back like a defibrillator in a video game. It just keeps blood circulating until help arrives. And the success rate? Pretty grim. Only about 10% of people survive outside hospital cardiac arrest, even with CPR, but it's still worth doing, because that 10% wouldn't make it otherwise. The danger comes when people think CPR is easy, or that you can wing it after one episode of Grey's Anatomy. Real CPR requires hard, deep compressions at a rhythm that'll make your arms feel like overcooked noodles. Doing it wrong can break ribs, which, ironically, is sometimes a sign you're doing it right. So yeah, the TV version is a feel-good lie. In reality, CPR is messy, exhausting, and doesn't always work, but it's still the only shot someone's got. Just don't expect them to wake up mid-compression and whisper, "Thanks, Doc." Number 1, the fire escape myth. You've probably seen this advice on posters in schools or offices. In a fire, crawl low and get out quickly. Not terrible advice, until people take it to mean, always run for the exit as fast as you can. Here's the thing. Fires don't just kill you with flames. It's the smoke. Thick, toxic, pitch-black smoke that turns your nice straight hallway into a blindfolded obstacle course of death. Most fire deaths happen because people panic, sprint blindly, and either collapse from smoke inhalation or get trapped when they lose their bearings. Running toward an exit without checking your surroundings is like doing a trust fall into a burning building. Firefighters actually suggest moving deliberately, testing doors with the back of your hand, because if it's hot, there's a whole wall of inferno on the other side. And yes, staying low to the ground where the air is clearer. The danger is the panic-fueled sprint people associate with escape drills. So ironically, the fastest way out can get you killed if you don't think. It's not about speed, it's about staying oriented, breathing low, and not turning into a Human Torch reenactment. Basically, in a fire, calm brains live longer than fast feet. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.